You're watching the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stand.
Salah to settle it in front of the Kop.
Hello, good morning and welcome back to the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stand. Myself, AGT, Mario, James, Redmond. I believe Rubi's en route. Guys, this is going to be a very good therapy session for the next hour. So make sure you smash the comments, smash the likes as well. Send in your hot Kopics. They're all up for discussion today, right? We've got a lot to get through. Massive shout out, first of all, before we get started, to Flux. Literally fresh off the presser, right? We finally got a Flux t-shirt that is the same colour as the Liverpool shirt. Get in there. We've also got this beautiful gilet as well, as it still carries on to be cold. James has got, I'm going to call it a mint, a greeny mint colour.
Lime, if you will.
And the hat. It's got
And the
three
hat.
items on today. Bosh. And Mario loves this one, don't you?
Absolutely better, matey. Oh,
You love this
brilliant.
I am
one,
sorry, but Mario, you
Looks good, doesn't
are chesty. Chesty,
What was the
lad.
word you gave? It was chesty, wasn't
Chesty,
it?
Yeah,
It was
chesty.
yeah.
It's become my favourite Scouse word, by the way, yeah.
Mario,
Yeah,
the
man.
chesty scouser.
Love to see it. If you want to see more of the chest, head down to Amalia.
Or tune into the
or
Kop
tune
TV.
into the
Subscribe to the
Kop
Kop TV if you want to see more of that. Very same
Everyone
chest.
does.
Um,
Wow, the comments are flying in
Hey,
already,
by the way,
man.
big up to everyone who's still here, to not only because we would like to think that we help you during
Yeah.
these dire times of, you know, trying to find any sort of answers to right now, but also the chat when you're just sending in comments and whatnot. It allows us to have a little bit of discussion amongst ourselves to try and
Yeah.
find why we're so bad at the moment. And I suppose with that on the tip of my tongue, is that where we start?
Right, so yeah, I guess let's start. The episode title today is Another Howler Away Performance. That's 4 out of 8 that we've lost now on the road in the Premier League. Started up, by the way, Happy New Year. It's the first hot
How
Kopics
dare
of
we
the
not?
new
Happy New
Sorry.
Year
to
to everyone.
everyone,
I hope
lads.
everyone has a very healthy, successful, prosperous new year for you and those closest around you and your family. But it didn't start that way for Liverpool last night, losing 3-1 away at Brentford, which is disgraceful, really. Big up to Brentford. They absolutely battered us. They deserve to win. I can't say anything bad about Brentford, right? Because no Ivan Toney, and they still managed to put us aside. James, when you were watching that game, you obviously did a watch-along last night. Go back and watch the highlights of that if you haven't already. What were you thinking? What was your kind of post-match thoughts, really? Because obviously we didn't get to do a fan cam, but give it to us now.
During the period of the game, I was just going clinically insane, second by second. I went Londonese, I went back to Scousenese. Like, there was loads of different variations in the voice. And again, just to imply how insane I was in those moments. Couldn't quite believe what I was watching. It's the fact that it was the group opposed to just one individual who was making the clear and obvious mistakes. That was the most mind-boggling to me. And I said to the chat as well, like, James, who do we blame, Jurgen or the players? I think both should share the blame. But I think in the same way as business, you'll have a majority investor and a minority investor. One needs to take more. And Jurgen Klopp can only do so much in terms of setting up a system. That's the whole point why you get a head coach nowadays, so they can set up a system that the players can follow and hopefully their type can suit it. The only difference is Jurgen Klopp's system that he chooses can only create the chances that, for instance, Nunez gets on the end of. It is then for Nunez to score those chances. Jurgen Klopp can only set the high line, and we've seen that it works before. Last season, we were getting teams double, 3 times the amount of offsides more than any other side in the Premier League. So it clearly shown it worked, and how come it's not working 3 to 4 months later? I would only apply the blame to the players not being able to execute the very same tactics that have not been working for a long time. And last thing, it doesn't take a genius to identify why Liverpool have been so good over the past 2 or 3 seasons. It's not genius. It's just, you knew we were going to outrun you. You knew we were at better players than you. And you knew the energy was not going to be matched. So even though you know all of these things and you know the tactical prowess of how Jurgen Klopp likes to set up, especially in the title-winning season when he changed between the 4-3-3 and the 4-2-3-1 when he bring on Origi, you knew what was going to happen. You just simply couldn't stop it. And the thing is, as well, people make great points when they say we never replaced Genie Wijnaldum. And me and you, Alex, we were 2 big people who were fuming over that transfer and not giving him a new contract based on the importance that he had, the reliability that he had to offer. What an absolute... He was never going to be a world-class player who'd score you world-class goals. But right now, that little extra cover for the defence, even just that element of being progressive from time to time, I think that was Genie's downfall, wasn't progressive enough, but still more than good enough for this team. And then when you include everything else about just players not even being open to discussion about players being temporarily dropped, that's where the success of the football club is at a detriment at the moment.
Just throw some names at us of people who you think should maybe I wouldn't say
temporarily be
yeah,
dropped.
I wouldn't say dropped. It's but I guess
2-3 games.
Yeah,
2-3 games. I'm sorry, a CV in football should not be the only factor to determine whether you should start the next football match. I love Salah, and he is the ultimate legend of my lifetime, because Steven Gerrard was, but then after that it's Mo Salah. Because as good as Luis Suarez was, Salah has done it season on season on season.
Completely.
Now, the only reason why I'm emphasising this is because I don't want people to think I want him to go. But yes, because as much as you've done great for me for the past 5 seasons, 5-season wonder boys, the one thing that I don't like is that you're a liability for next week and you're a liability for the week after that. And unfortunately, football is a game of winning. Or I'd like to hope that Liverpool have those standards. Therefore, if you're going to be a liability, we need to make sure that we've got someone behind you who can fill in your role. So that's the worry for me at the moment. There's many people to blame. The lack of investment, the manager for being a bit too stubborn at times, but most importantly, the players who are on the pitch at the moment.
Yeah, before we get Mario's thoughts on the game last night, you guys are flooding in the comments. Thank you so much for getting involved. If you want your comment to be 100% read out, because we can't get through every single one of them, we appreciate all the hot Kopics. If you want yours to be 100% read out, do send in a super chat if you can, and that puts it straight to the top of the queue. Ruby should be here. People asking for Ruby. She's late, as usual, really.
As always.
So I'm not too sure when she'll be here, but hopefully she will very soon. But Mario, talk to me about some of the big names that went missing last night. You said Salah was a ghost last night. There's people agreeing with you in the comments. He was AWOL.
Terrible.
Of course, first game of 2023, it wasn't the best performance we ever had, and it's I don't want to analyze the game yesterday, because the game yesterday is just a result of couple of 3-4 games. We had the same situation with Leicester City. The performance is the main problem at the moment for Liverpool. It's we miss the protection from the midfielder, from the protection for the defenders, because we can't blame. Of course, yesterday Ibrahima Konate, that's on goal. The third goal is 100% his mistake. But I don't want to blame him, of course.
I think that's the first mistake he's ever made for
exactly.
Liverpool.
He's young player, and I'm pretty sure that he's going to be an amazing future player, for us in the future, definitely. The thing is, we need, same like James said, we need that kind of protection from the midfielders for the defense, because we definitely miss a player like Gini Wijnaldum, which is not a world-class player, but he's very, very, very super important player to keep he runs probably 12 miles every game, and we need to cover that space between the defenders and the midfield. Who used to do like that? Fabinho, he used to play brilliantly in that role last 3-4 seasons. At the moment, Fabinho is so poor.
I think it's because he lacks the legs that Gini Wijnaldum had to offer, Mario. I think that's why Fabinho's struggling so much, because now the lactic acid is building up even more than his fucking legs. And now he's playing like he was the one who gave birth to the baby. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying? But that's what Fabinho's been playing like. So I think you're bang on. I think he just needs those legs around him so he can just do all the sweeping up. Oh, sorry, you carry on.
No, it's fine. It's fine. He's for me, Fabinho, like a defensive midfielder, he was probably one of the best the last 3 seasons. Not just in the Premier League, probably all.
I think he was the best DM in the world at his prime.
Absolutely. And if you want to put Thiago Alcantara, and something that shocked me yesterday, it really shocked me. It wasn't the game, but Jamie Carragher interview after the game, something that I didn't notice. We signed one midfielder in the last 4.5 seasons, which is scaring. We signed Thiago Alcantara in 2020.
Yeah.
He was the best player for that Bayern Munich in that season. And of course, he's a world-class player. Probably this season, he's one of the best Liverpool players. He's not the problem. But if you want to play with Thiago Alcantara, we need to put a big defensive midfielders next to him. We can't play with Elliott and Thiago Alcantara because they are similar. For me, Elliott is not a midfielder. He's not a midfielder. Same situation like Fabio Carvalho. He's not a pure midfielder. So at the moment, we're struggling because Luis Diaz is injured, Diogo Jota is injured, and Ox, he played as attacking player, which is he's not good enough. Yeah, he scored a very nice goal yesterday. He gave a good assist for Tsimikas. But his contribution for Liverpool is not good enough to achieve
And you know what, Mario?
God's performance and points.
Do you know what this leads to, right? And this is what I was trying to say before about sharing the blame between the players, the manager, and the owners. And the reason why you've got to blame the players is because they're not putting in the effort. You've got to blame the manager because he remains to be stubborn and he's not maximising his resources to change it. And then the owners because of what you've just said, the fact that we're being forced to start and 19-year-old kids who should only really be getting a cameo here and there off the bench and learning off the players around him, which would be much more beneficial.
He can play every game.
And exactly. And I agree. Harvey Elliott just doesn't have that. He's a great player, but he doesn't have the physical presence that we need in our midfield. Like, nobody looks at Harvey and thinks, I don't mind if he comes in shoulder on shoulder. He needs to develop more, and that's fine because he's got the basics there, but that's why you need to have, let's just say we got Gini Wijnaldum back. Right now, we've got the legs. You've got Fabinho there as well, who's the holding role. And then you've got Thiago there, who, let's say he's fit once every 3 games. Okay, use them once every 3 games. And then in the meantime, use Harvey if you really, really need to, or use the new midfielders that you're going to have to buy when you consider Naby's out, Ox is out, Milner's out, Hendo's getting older, and I'm bringing those 4 up again because this is what's forcing Klopp to start Harvey Elliott. Curtis Jones hasn't showed enough recently to be starting. Thiago's injured quite often, but obviously if he's fit, then he plays. Henderson's not been performing well enough, and then the other 3 who are probably leaving. Again, like, why am I going to start Naby, Ox, and Milner when Harvey's the future of the football club? We might as well try and get him as much lessons in right now because these are already going. And then that's where it goes back to the top because you haven't spent the midfielders that you need, which is forced Klopp to start.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sorry, Alex, you look like you wanted to.
After the game last night, Carragher had some words to say with Neville, basically saying that Liverpool are falling behind. The kind of era that we know and love is over. He also said we need 3 midfielders. I wanted to ask you guys in the comments, how many midfielders do Liverpool need? Is it 2? Is it 3? When you consider the likes of Oxford definitely will be leaving in the summer on a free. Facts.
Yep.
Naby Keita, unless we sell him in January, he'll be leaving on a free. Which is almost a £90 million waste.
Only 3, I know, yeah. Only frees up the wages. That's it.
Think about
and James Milner, great servant to the club, but obviously that will free up a lot of wages when he goes as well. So there's 3 going. Plus, Fabinho's legs are getting on, Hendo's are, and Thiago's are.
Literally the whole, and Harvey Elliott's not ready.
He's not ready. And Curtis Jones has just been offered signed a new contract.
Oh, my God. This is the current situation.
This is mad. So, yeah, 5. Here's the score.
People saying 5 midfielders.
Do you know what, chat? Right here, here's what I'm going to say, because I agree. I think in an ideal world, 5 midfielders would be very suitable, but unfortunately, that's not how football works. What we really need is bare minimum, and I mean this is still being a cheapskate, 2 midfielders. And the reason why we need 2 is because them 2 will come into the team right now. And then when you've got the additional thing, because we're not selling Thiago anytime soon, so he's going to have to stay. We're not selling Henderson, so he's going to have to stay. Let's hypothetically say the 3 players you said are going to go. So they're gone. Henderson's still here, Thiago's still here. Harvey's an option. Curtis is an option. Oh, and we forgot a little player called Tyler Morton, who's out on loan at Blackburn, doing quite well, by the way. Now, Stefan Bakacic, who I believe will actually end up going out on loan. But the point and premise is that Jurgen Klopp will still want to evolve these young players into the team. Therefore, you can't go out, and it's actually not really smart to go out and spend on what would be 5 midfielders. You'd need to spend at least 200 million for all of them to be of decent quality for the first team. Maybe more. In fact, definitely more. Definitely more. What the fuck am I on about? But the point and premise is that we've already got good young players that we can grow. If they don't end up being good enough for the first team, we sell them. But at least the 2 or 3 that we have bought can accommodate us for right now. And then the likes of Tyler Morton can just step up in the meantime, because you've still got to get a chance for the youth academy to go through, you know what I mean? You don't want to be a club that gives no youth a chance. But that's the way I see it. I don't know if you agree.
Yeah, and Dicko agrees with you. He says we've got Morton and Clarkson coming back.
Like, we don't need as many as people think. It's just we need the first team midfielders, which is the most important part. Like, you can worry about the depth later on. Depth was what we were worrying about back in like 17, 18 and 16, 17. Squad depth, because the 11 was sound, or at least I think we were all happy with the 11 and the effort that they were putting in. Whereas it's different now. Now we've got to actually get the first team midfield, and then you can focus on.
We needed to buy someone in the summer transfer list.
Mario, we needed to buy some. We needed to buy people after we won the Champions League,
2-3 years.
and after we won the league.
We knew the problems about the midfield this season, so we must buy someone in the last summer. I don't know why we didn't buy no one.
But this is FSG, boys. This is FSG. Speaking of which as well, I just wanted to have a conversation because I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, and I know this has been a proper recurring topic on this show. I mentioned a few weeks ago, like, the possibility of the reason why, like, fans are slightly hypocritical, specifically on Nunez, is based on the premise that nobody would have wanted Timo Werner after seeing his first few games at Chelsea. And now you're seeing Nunez basically being the Uruguayan version. Like, it's just, you know, we've got to have a conversation that is he good enough to be a part of the best front three yet right now, because we've got barely any options. But I think when everyone's available, you think he's definitely a part of the best front three?
For me, he is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just a timing thing. As soon as he refines that finishing, he will score, or he is capable of scoring between 30 to 50 goals a season. I genuinely do believe that. It's just about giving him that extra bit of support at the minute to get him through this confidence shot period. But, bro, if that goal went in last night that was cleared off the line, I'm guaranteeing he gets 2 or 3 last night. It's just a confidence thing. And once he does, like Salah in his first season, refine that down. Salah still scored a lot of goals, but in the first half of his first season, he still needed 4 chances to score 1. Nunez, on average, is hitting 6 shots per game, which is the most of any striker in the league. He's also missed the most big chances in the league with 16. He has 6 shots per game. Let's say of those 6 shots, 3 go on target. And this is the bare minimum, by the way, I'm saying. If you're having 6 shots, you should be getting 5 or 6 on target. Let's say 3 go on target, and let's say out of those 3, 2 are goals. I think it's just a matter of time before we hit the dynamite of him and he explodes into a fucking goal machine. But right now, it's stinking a little bit. I'm not going to hide it. It is stinking a little bit. Last night, gets a yellow card as well, which I didn't like. Showing a little bit of petulance again, as we've seen last time. But he's getting into the positions. He causes chaos. And it's a stick with him thing. Just keep him up front. You can play him on the left as well, but stick him in the team. Because it looks like our other out-and-out number 9, after we were convinced that he'd be staying, and Klopp said it as well, looks like Bobby could be off to the Qatar lads. Did you see the tweet?
Yeah, I saw it.
You saw the tweet from the Qatari guy?
I did see it.
It looks like he's going to go, though.
True.
Which is gutting.
I want to respond to what you just said about Nunez, because one thing I'll even admit is that I don't really give people the chance to fully disclose their points on Nunez, so I did want to give the opportunity to, like, actually shut the fuck up for once. But the point is that, like, I completely get what you're saying about, like, how he can be at least an option, or he can be a part of the first team, I suppose. Sure. The only thing I see is, like, if I wanted a striker who could do everything but score goals, I would have called Bobby Firmino.
But like, even he scores goals.
He scores goals, but not the goals that we were always looking for in a number 9, which we've been searching for years. And that's why we were going to end up buying Timo Werner, so we could cause chaos. That's why he was so close. And then something happened to where it didn't. And then we were all there buzzing about Jota. You know, the thing about Nunez is just very plain and simple, is that, you know, like the way people say, like, oh, he doesn't speak English and whatever. I'm so sorry, but being able to say hello and goodbye opposed to hola and adios does not translate to good finishing. And it does not translate to efficient finishing. And for the chances that we need in the Premier League, I don't think he's the man to take us on to Premier League titles and Champions League titles. Can he be a man who comes off the bench and offer a different option? For sure. For sure. The same way that Werner ended up on the bench at Chelsea, the same way that Origi was always on the bench at us, I think he can be an option there. But I think the price tag has massively inflated people's expectations on Nunez in the current moment. And I think if we do persist with the idea that he's going to be good enough for the first 11, that's where our downfall is going to come.
Someone's just said Nunez is a spicy Voronin. Through Don in the comments.
This is everything. I don't understand one thing of especially Liverpool supporters who is watching the games. When you watch the games of Liverpool and you can see the hard work from Darwin Nunez, he runs for every single minute in 90 minutes. He never stops to run.
I didn't want to spend 85 million on a marathon runner.
Okay, no, this is different. He runs, he helps the team. He never give up. He that assists for Salah against
someone
Leicester.
Who never gave up, I'd have bought John Cena.
Listen, bro, that assist for Mohamed Salah against Leicester between 6 defenders, it's a fucking belter. And he missed Mohamed Salah. I think at the moment, the only one thing who Darwin Nunez needs is just scoring goals, which is probably the most simple thing in the football, or the most difficult, depends of which point of view you're saying the stuff. So he needs to be, he needs that kind of confidence. At the moment, he needs that kind of confidence. But he's doing everything right. For example, yesterday I've noticed in Bulgarian and the Italian, like TikTok and stuff like that, bullshits. And they just, you know, they make a picture of the moment he was shooting on the nets, in the first 10 minutes, that occasion he missed. And you can see that the net was like empty. from that picture, and people saying, "Oh, he missed another goal.
That's
He's
unfair,
a good
though.
side." Exactly.
he should
This
have
is
scored
this is completely unfair,
Lewandowski would have scored that.
and this is absolutely
But there
bullshit.
was a player sliding in that cleared it off the line that wasn't even in that picture.
Exactly.
Which suits a kind of narrative. It's all about.
I
like,
hate when
it doesn't
people
put his head
talking
up.
without watching the games.
But I
When
did
you
watch
watch
the
the game, you can't not appreciate what Darwin Nunez is doing for Liverpool at the moment. He needs just time. It's matter of
He's good enough for a team that's competing for top 6. He's good enough for that. He's not good enough for, like, when we were playing at our best a couple of years ago, Nunez doesn't get close to that team, besides bench.
Big up to NRL with the super chat. 35 million invested into 4.5 years in the midfield, and Decas free at the end of the season. Get him in, centre back and 3 midfielders. No top 4 if we don't get midfielders in January. It's just, this is a nice therapy session, isn't it? We're all unleashing our worries and doubts.
Do you want me to tell you why it's not as much for me? Because I believe that statements like what you guys make, and I love you both, you know, you like me brothers, but from a footballing point of view, I do feel like a lot of your point of views, especially on players like Nunez, is what's going to hinder the success of this football club. I think accepting those standards, accepting a player who misses 15 out of 19 big chances is ludicrous to me, especially for a team that's had Robbie Fowler, Luis Suarez, Michael Owen, and these are players who couldn't even win us trophies. Like, fuck me, imagine Nunez in a team that we needed the perfect team. We needed Virgil. We needed all the transfers to work out at once. We needed Virgil to work out, Fabinho to work out, Van Dijk to work out, and thankfully we built a fucking Salah to work out, and we built a ruthless spine and a ruthless base around that spine to where we were unbeatable. Every player in every pitch had such a significant role. Nunez's significant role only comes now purely off of the premise that he causes chaos and he's just putting in more effort than everyone else. So I'll give you that, Mario. He's doing more than everyone else, but everyone else is nowhere near the standards. All my argument is right now, while we've got injuries, yet Nunez is sound. But the idea that he's going to be starting for us in the future is where we will not compete for league titles.
You think that he's not going to score in the future? What's your feeling about him?
I don't think he's good enough for Liverpool in the future. You can score 20 goals a season all you want, but that doesn't mean you improve the all-round team. Manchester United finished 2nd before they bought Ronaldo. Ronaldo comes in, he scores 20 goals or something, but they finish 6th. It doesn't improve the all-round premise of the team, and I think Nunez has a very, very similar impact. I think we were always better without an out-and-out number 9. I think he's just doing the role that Salah was, but he's just not as good as he.
I think at the moment, Nunez is the last of the Liverpool problems, to be honest. We had like more big problems, more main
I'm just saying he shouldn't be starting, because if we start to get better again, he's not the man to take us there. While we're competing for 6th, he's good enough.
And who's going to play now? We've got just Nunez and Salah.
When Jota and that gets back, I hope they're playing over Nunez.
They're going to rotate.
I'd love a front 3 right now of either Bobby, Gakpo, Diaz, and then Nunez to maybe come off the bench, because I still don't mind Nunez being a part of the squad and being an option, but starting, mate, I hate the way he gets the majority of our big chances, because he's just got nothing about him. People,
I saw just one comment of one guy, I don't remember the name. He said that they are professional footballers and they are paying for run 90 minutes. Yeah, I agree with this, but the way he's running and he wants to give his best to Liverpool is something that we need to appreciate at the moment for Nunez, which is he needs just the confidence to score. And I'm pretty sure, man, I say this thing about like 100 times. I'm pretty sure he's going to be a Liverpool superstar in the future. He's going to score 30, 40, 50 goals.
I don't know why people don't believe that.
Absolutely.
People in the comments will call us deluded. But when he starts banging in the goals, just remember, speaking of Nunez, another Nunez that we were in for in the summer that Wolves actually got. Have you heard this, Jay? That we're looking at paying,
I don't want him.
We're looking at paying more now for him than we were in the summer. It hasn't really worked out for him at Wolves. Again, it stinks of desperation, man. Like, obviously we need midfielders. Obviously we all know we want Jude. Obviously it looks like Chelsea are getting Enzo. So Amrabat's still there. I'm not totally convinced on him. We had a big debate on him, didn't we, on the last episode in the studio. I just can't really see how we're going to, buy a midfielder in this window, but I can't see Liverpool going out and buying 3 in a row in the summer transfer window. And Matheus Nunes, who is now at Wolves, if we were going to buy him, don't wait for him to go to Wolves and then be rubbish and then buy him for even more than you were going to buy him for in the summer.
Exactly.
How's Nunes' legs? Is his legs good?
I saw him crying with an injury for Wolves the other day. Like, actually not just taking the mick, but actually crying on the pitch. So I haven't seen much of him. There's Caicedo as well that people are saying in the comments. Like him. The thing is, though, like,
70
if we get him,
he won't be 70.
If we get him, we're saying that he has to play in the starting 11 if we buy a midfielder, right? So Is it Fabinho that we drop? Is it like who gets sacrificed?
Thiago and Elliot. Interchange. This is the point of why we need options, because Thiago's never fit. Henderson's not good enough. Elliot needs to play less games because he needs to take more time learning, opposed to trying to be the man right now. We need like Amrabat or someone who can cover the midfield and just add those extra legs.
The perfect player was Enzo Fernandez. Honestly, if you leave like the 130 million of the price Chelsea pay for him, but the perfect player.
Wait, is he going to Chelsea now?
For the it's not 100% official.
Oh, okay. If there's any club
that kind of player at the moment, we miss that kind of player at the moment with our midfield.
Enzo Fernandez would be out of all the options we've been linked with, Bellingham, Amrabat, and Enzo. Listen to me words carefully. He would have been the most important signing.
Enzo.
Really?
No,
yeah. I'm not saying he's better than Jude.
No, I agree.
I don't want people to misconstrue what I'm saying. I'm just saying that he would be more important right now.
That's what I'm saying.
He brings the aggression, the tackling, the passing, the ability on the ball.
Filter he does.
The shithousery that those South Americans tend to bring. I think we need a bit of that.
We need that kind of player at the moment.
Yeah, I think he'd get along with Darwin as well. That's not a joke, by the way. I think he'd get along very well with Darwin. Them two would just seem to have mad energy. You know what I mean?
Big up to Yusuf in the comments. What do you make of this one, boys, for a hot Kopic? Naby Keita starts from now on.
Nope. Because even if he does start, he's going to be unavailable in the next 3 games.
Come on, lads.
He's not the long-term option, so why persist with him now?
It's not serious when you put Naby Keita in the start 11, man. Come on.
No, I agree.
You said on the fan cams last night, you said it's time to go.
Absolutely.
It's been time to go.
Absolutely.
It's been time to go. I said last season.
It's been 3 seasons ago.
I said last season was his last chance. Last season was his last chance for me, and he never took it.
He plays 5 seasons for Liverpool.
Mad.
5 seasons. 5, not 1, not 2, not 3.
This is actually his 6th year of being a Liverpool footballer now, because he was signed in 17 and he started in for us in 18, didn't he?
I can't believe we pay him 60 million.
Number 8 as
60 million. Number 8 straight away.
I don't even care about the number 8.
No,
hang on.
No, it's important.
We're in a catch-22 now, because
that's just marketing.
We're chatting about earning money to spend money, but we need midfielders. We need numbers for the next 5 months. So if you play Naby and then sell him, and not even sell him, let him walk away for free in the summer, I'm just struggling to see. I mean, we need midfielders to be playing, really good ones. He's an okay one. We haven't seen enough of it. And I would want him to show his quality, but why would we do that if we're going to sell him for free?
Naby?
Yeah.
Nah, facts. But again, like, this just shows to the incompetence. Like, business is more than just getting people in. How many good assets have you brought in?
Yeah.
Well, how about the previous assets that you've bought? How did you end up selling those? Or how did they work out for you? How did they add to your resources? And as far as I'm concerned, Naby Keita hindered our resources based on the fact that we spent the majority on the money on him that we could have went and spent on either someone else or 2 other midfielders. And the reason why that's another hindrance is because now you haven't got those players. You've got Naby, and he's injured every couple of games. He can't be playing, and he needs to go. And through to the lack of incompetence from the owners, there's a reason why we've still got the Oxlades, the Nabbies. And even if it is, do you know if it is Jurgen Klopp? And again, I want to remind people, Jurgen Klopp's job is to maximise the performance of the players that he's got. His role is to not sit there in the transfer room and discuss transfers. I'm sure he has an influence. And yes, he'll get involved in the discussions when he talks to the players. Like, by the way, this is the football that we're going to play. This is the role that we want you to have. But he's underneath a hierarchy. The decision makers are the ones from the top to the people that they employ. Boards, directors, etc., etc. And those are the ones who need to recognise, okay, Milner might just be finished. Naby Keita might just be too unreliable. Oxlade-Chamberlain might just be too unreliable. As good as we think they are, as big of the investments as they was, we haven't even went out and bought a backup for them.
Yeah.
In the meantime. So now we've got to go out and spend all at once. So through a big lack of incompetence at the top of business is the reason why Liverpool are in this problem right now.
NRL with Super Chat. Elliot isn't a midfielder. Bacetic is and should start. And James, you said he should start because other players exist. So why is Ox ahead of Carvalho then?
No, it's a great point. It's a great point. I think it's because Harvey and Carvalho are very similar players. They're both young. There's no strength in that midfield if you put both them in. Therefore, there's a massive lack of imbalance. The same logic won't apply to everyone. Oxlade simply was playing because he was available. He's clearly been putting in the performances and training. Which has allowed Jurgen Klopp to give him the nod. And be okay. Just, I think we're back. I just think it was. Sorry if the Wi-Fi is going a little bit messed up. People will. We'll sort. Even if it is, Wi-Fi is Wi-Fi. You know what I mean? It's not like I wish you could just press a button and it'd be sweet. But yeah, whatever I was saying about what I was saying, I don't think we should start. Yeah, Oxlade. Love Oxlade, Papa Oxlade.
100 league games for Liverpool last night.
I don't think you can say he's been a flop. I think he had a really good start. I think he's done
In terms of
bits in and
value
out.
for money, like 40 mil that we paid for him in 2017,
Sound.
6 years ago, you're looking at 8 mil a season for Ox.
He improved us when we bought him.
Trophies, yeah, for sure he did. And no
It's
one
just we kept
in the
him for too
comments
long.
or anyone here can tell me that he was not our best midfielder until he got that injury against Rome.
That's 100%
That is a
fact.
fact.
Yeah, but this is fact,
That is a
100%.
fact.
But
100%.
Yeah, but it
we
was
kept,
2018.
him for too long.
Yeah.
Is the
5
point.
seasons ago.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was 5
It was a
seasons
while
ago.
now.
So
Yeah,
long-
100%.
Ask the chat who they blame mostly as well. So out of the manager, the players and the owners, obviously it's very easy to say the owners and probably the manager as well. But try and let us know who you blame most and why you blame them.
So many comments coming in right now.
Well
Big up
done.
to
Well in
everyone.
chat. We were
Smashing
buzzing.
it, man.
Shout out a few of the people as well, Alex. You know what I mean? The Kop
100%.
TV
Big up
viewers.
Stefan and Dicko, as always, who's saying Conference League, here we come. Nice and positive from Ant Dicko. Hey! Red Scouser 87, I think, on Instagram. Long time ago, bro, he must go. I hope we finish 8th and they need to sell. I don't agree with that one.
this is
Speaking
crazy,
of the owners,
man.
though, the owners, obviously, we
crazy.
know that they own Boston Red Sox. They were at Fenway Park last night and we were getting booed. John Henry was at FSG's, maybe flagship stadium last night at the Fenway Park, and he got booed by Boston Red Sox fans. So if they're booing him, yes, he has just delivered us Gakpo, but I think he might get some boos from us as well if he comes to Anfield next and we don't buy a midfielder.
Until we do buy a midfielder, and then all of us just get back on his fucking side, as the same way that we have done.
I'm so torn with FSG because there's been
So
as
easy.
many good things I think that they've done,
No, that's true.
and as
No,
many
absolutely.
bad things I think that
No,
they've done.
I'll never forgive them for the Super League. The attempt of the Super League. I'll never forgive
But
them for trying to trademark
that
Liverpool.
same way, you have
I'll never forgive them.
have to applaud them for bringing in players like, players that have won us the league. You saw Neville and Carragher last night. Neville saying 2 things Liverpool need is Jurgen Klopp to stay and new owners.
And he say no?
And then obviously Carragher didn't agree with him. But do you agree that they have done some good for the club? Like, look at we didn't think we were getting Gakpo. Look at how we've got Gakpo for 37 mil.
No doubt. Great things that they've done. But it's not even
by you?
The money isn't even why I'd say I wanted them out. I think they run a football club in a decent way. I think the way they portray the ambitions to the fans is insincere. I think they say, yeah, we'll go and compete and yet we'll spend money and then they don't. So maybe for that reason, I would be pissed. But the reason why I'm pissed at them, I've told you the reasons why I'm pissed at them. It's outside of just transfers. But yeah, they've done good business, but we can certainly have better if we want to go and compete for league titles. If we want a sustainable football club who has a net spend of 0 all the time, then yeah, sweet, FSG are brilliant. And we're happy with competing for Europa League and Champions Leagues. But as we know that Jurgen Klopp can only do so much with the players that he's given. You've got to accommodate him, those players. So what's the good in having a Jurgen Klopp? It's like buying an Xbox One S, the latest edition, without the controller. It's like, what are you going to do? How are you going to use it?
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I do blame them massively, and I kicked them out of the club a long time
Captain
ago.
Sal agrees with you, says FSG are the main problem as far as he's concerned. They have done some good for the club to balance that with Stefan here.
But it's like,
if
if a parent brings up a kid and does all these things, pays for the food and stuff, the basics of what a parent is there to do, but then is always, I don't know, derailing the confidence and shouting at them and stuff like that. It's like, okay, yeah, sound, you've done all these good things, but just should that mean that you can do all the bad things as well?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Last night, Mbeumo, on his 3rd goal, where he's absolutely floored Konate, he did the LeBron celebration.
Yeah.
I like Mbeumo.
Someone has basically tagged him, LeBron James, in it, who is a part owner of Liverpool. I think it's 6% or something.
10%. No, less than 10%.
11 or something.
Yeah.
And he's basically responded that by saying, I got work to do in other places too. Basically talking about Mbeumo copying the celebration. And people saying on Twitter that he sold his stake in Liverpool, which isn't true. I think he still has that. So obviously not good. Last night,
are people fuming at LeBron?
No, I mean, it was more of a banter thing, to be fair.
Okay.
But it was not a good result last night. And now we're talking about 44 million for Matheus Nunes, the midfielder, this time. Carragher last night, a little quote for you to react to. If Liverpool think they can get top 4 without signing midfielder in this window, they've got absolutely no chance.
You still want the owners in.
And the scary thing that Klopp said after Gakpo, our transfer market is done for in this window.
He didn't necessarily say that. He said
No, he said something
the money
like
is
that.
there if the right thing comes up at the right price, but we're not just going to splash the cash.
Where's he being told that? Sorry. Where's he being told that from? Who's telling him to say this?
Well, I mean,
I don't know.
It's not necessarily who's telling him. He's basically just being fairly transparent by saying, look, we're not just going to splash 150 million on a player just because he's there. If we have the money and the right opportunity comes up to buy that player for the right money, then we will. I don't think that's because we're not getting mugged off. That's the reason why we can get a Gakpo, because we're not out here like a United, like a Chelsea, getting mugged off by being so public with their thing.
Yeah.
We'll just be like, bosh, got one.
If I won the lottery and I owned a mansion and I won loads and loads of millions, I'd give you some.
Yeah, no, it's facts. I'll give you some as well.
So do you think I'm a good owner?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ash saying he agrees with James about Enzo. I think injury has a big influence in this season. Says
it does, but that's why you've got to accommodate it. We've had an injury-ridden season before, which is why I always go back to the owners. Like, these players are injured. If you go into this season in big 2022, I have to emphasise the year, because this is a year where we still have James Milner, we still have Oxlade-Chamberlain, we still have Naby Keita, and we still portray the ambition to compete for league titles and Champions Leagues, which both of those things completely contradict themselves. Really, really do. I understand bad transfer decision-making like Nunez and stuff, but all the other stuff of keeping players for too long, bullshit, mate. Absolute bullshit.
Ashley saying FSG will never be forgiven for the Super League scandal. I'll always be grateful for the business, stadium and Anfield redevelopment side of their management policy. Now it's time for them to sell.
I agree with you.
We agree with you. It is time for them to sell, but if you're FSG, you're not just going to sell because everyone wants you to sell. You're going to try and get the maximum out of it in terms of financial gain.
Facts.
And it's a time thing. I don't think this is going to happen overnight. But then if they come and say, right, well, there's Amrabat for 50 million, there's Caicedo, now what?
Then everyone's back on board.
6 more months to be the owners.
Everyone forgets about the Super League again. Everyone said the owner should be gone around the Super League.
Yeah.
Everyone did. Now it's changed because football and fans are gold diggers. They see a transfer, they see a new shiny toy. Yes, because now the eyes are going to be pleasured by this new individual, and they like numbers and they like headlines, and it's so easy to manipulate this fan base the same way it's easy to manipulate every other fan base.
Looking forward, big game in the FA Cup, which I think becomes even more important after we lost last night. It's another opportunity to win a trophy. Wolves at home, Saturday night, 8 o'clock. Do you think we see Cody Gakpo play in that game? I think now there's a little bit more of a push to see that, if I'm honest. For him to make his debut at least.
Yeah. That's the only reason why I'm looking forward to the game. I'm not looking forward to seeing Liverpool play at all at the moment. The football's terrible. It makes me angry. Lack of running, everything just pisses me off. So, yeah, I'm not looking forward to the game particularly. That being said, what I am looking forward to, I suppose, is improvements. And Gakpo could very much be one of those. He could have a good game, and next thing you know, he ends up being a really good option to have in the squad. Could change our season to at least push for top 4. But yeah, mate, otherwise, besides that, I think Wolves is a tough game. I think they've got good squad balance. I don't think they've been in great form, but form tends to go out the window when you play Liverpool this year.
And after that game, there's a nice 7-day break until we play Brighton away. Now,
which is super difficult game.
And again, this goes back to the point we made last night, right? So far in Klopp's tenure at Liverpool, James, he's only won 47, and that would be even less now because we won last night. So let's say it's around 40%. He's only won 40% of games in January since his time at Liverpool. We've got Brighton away on the 14th, which again, I mean, just watch Brighton, how good they are. I'm shitting myself for that game,
Brighton
if I'm honest.
is super
and then
tough.
Just against Charlton, I'll shit myself right now.
Yeah, me too. And then we play Chelsea at home on the 21st, early kickoff. Early kickoffs have never been.
That's got a draw written all over it.
It does 1-1 all over. And then we play Wolves again away in the league, and then it's the derby home to Everton on a Monday night, and then Newcastle away. If I'm asking you the question now, in the next 5 league games, Brighton away, Chelsea at home, Wolves away, Everton at home, Newcastle away, 15 points up for grabs, and let us know in the comments as well, how many points do we get in the next 5 league games? I'll ask Mario first and then come to Jay.
It's a tough question because
I've got my answer now. If you want me to answer first, then you want to think about it.
Yeah,
Go on.
let's go. Come on.
I was just simply going to say I think we'll get 7. I
Half
think
of the points.
So I think Chelsea will be a point. Everton will be a win. What did you say the game was after Everton?
We got
Newcastle
Brighton
away, and we
first.
got Brighton,
Brighton
Chelsea.
first.
It was Wolves as well,
Everton.
weren't it?
Yeah.
Wolves, yeah, we'll beat Wolves, beat Everton, draw against Chelsea, lose the other 2.
So you think we'll lose to Brighton and Newcastle?
Yeah.
7. Any better or worse for you? This is horrible.
Brighton and Newcastle are horrible teams to play.
They are, really are.
Horrible
Even
teams.
Brighton, I think the most difficult game from that 5 games we've got is the Brighton
Really?
away.
Them or
Yes.
Newcastle for me.
Brighton
Them or
away.
Newcastle.
Them or
Newcastle,
I'd agree.
Brighton, yeah, it's difficult. Brighton,
Mad to say
they
that.
play
When you've
very
got a
good
list of
football.
Everton
Brighton.
and Chelsea, and they're the 2 toughest games.
Brighton, they play a very, very good football, to be honest. And
Your brothers,
when
their
we
manager,
play
didn't it,
against
Mario?
them in September, October, we equalized 2-2 against them. And it was a very hard game, you
Was
remember?
it 3-3? Didn't Trossard score out?
3-3 or 3-3,
Yeah.
exactly, not 2-2. So it was a very hard game. I don't know, man. I think
Sorry, you're on about
From
last
the-
year or this season?
This season.
no, this
Oh, yeah.
season we play at home on November or
Yeah, yeah,
October. I
yeah.
don't remember.
Yeah. Horrible.
So at the moment, I think the priority. Let's go step by step. At the moment, the priority is by a midfielder,
Yeah.
defensive midfielder to give legs.
I like what Mario's doing here. Let's break it down.
Yeah.
Go on, so
Exactly.
midfielder.
Step by step.
Yeah.
We need a midfielder.
Yep.
First point
Step 1.
in a January transfer.
Yep.
Then, of course, we've got 5 difficult games, but.
No, he's stuck.
No, I mean,
we've got past the first step and now he's stuck.
we've got Arsenal, which is recovering from the injury.
Yeah.
You know, I want to be positive. I'm always positive. You know, as a Liverpool supporter, you have to be positive and always believe. At the moment, it's definitely probably, I don't know, it's tough times at the moment.
So where's the steps gone? Hang on. So we need to buy a midfielder. How many points are we getting?
10 points, I don't know, 10 points, 10, 11, I
And
don't
can
know.
I just say, I scrolled down a little bit more after
It's-
that
I
Newcastle
don't know.
game. Real Madrid at home, Champions League, which becomes even more important now to win a trophy. Palace away, late kickoff, that'll
fucking
be horrible.
confused.
United at home after that,
Yeah.
yeah. Bournemouth away, and then Real Madrid away, and then Fulham at home, City away, and then Arsenal, and then Leeds away.
Yeah, we're getting
Honestly,
fingered.
man.
And then the Liverpool supervision in Eco Arena.
The what?
The Liverpool supervision, come on, man, in the Eco Arena, the most important, the Liverpool, like the young people, like songs, stuff like that. Eurovision, Liverpool, Eurovision.
Eurovision.
I
Yeah,
have no
yeah.
idea where he was going with that
Yeah,
then.
no,
Sorry,
it's not.
yeah.
It's,
Sorry,
it's
Mario.
not related to the
When is
football.
that? When is that? What
It's
date?
beginning of May.
Oh,
Yeah,
fuck's
you have
sake.
to mention that. I mean, Eurovision is
okay,
important.
Eurovision's in May. Not that that really affects Liverpool's form, but there you go. But it's looking like a very, very, very tough couple of months. Let's go through a couple of numbers that people are getting involved with in the comments in terms of how many points do we pick up in the next 5 games. Ed, fairly positive, 8 points. AK's gone with Jay, 7. Ant Dicko, 4. 1
Yeah.
point off the bitters, says
Dicko.
Alex. 3 points in total, Captain South. So you think we'll win 1 game in 5?
They have a
Because if so,
right
that's
based on
4.
what they've been seeing to suggest this,
Yeah.
though. Like, the only good performance since we returned was really Aston Villa.
And even
Um,
that, we were
and even
open
that
in some
was like-
big moments.
But
in
you
the
know,
game.
Southampton as well, when we beat them before the break, that was a similar game.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like we got a decent scoreline, but we were still all over the gaff
We
and we were
were.
still conceding
I
goals
actually,
first.
when was the last time, and I'm going to go through the results, when was the last time you thought, what a performance, Liverpool?
Bournemouth. 9-0.
Tottenham away, 2-1?
Tottenham
6th
away.
of November?
But
Ajax away, 3-0?
Because even that game was questionable.
Ajax
Tottenham
away
could have
was a
beat
very
us.
good
That
performance.
was a very good performance.
Remember
though, to be
Tottenham
fair.
when they could have beat us, though?
Yeah, they could have beat us in that
Ajax
game.
was a really good game. Ajax didn't play well.
Napoli
That
at home, 2-0, we won that.
Do you know what?
First
No,
I'd
of
say-
November.
Napoli at home, it wasn't a good performance. Napoli
No,
at
it
home.
wasn't,
No.
actually. We were lucky to win that
Didn't you
game.
think?
No.
When Curtis
wasn't-
Jones was playing well and we beat them?
We beat Napoli 2-0, but the performance wasn't
3-0.
good that game.
Nah, it weren't
Sorry,
great to
2-0.
be fair. Oh, 3-0.
There was 2-0 against Napoli, 3-0 away at Ajax.
Oh, yeah.
No, Ajax was better. As
Maybe
a
it might be
performance.
the 7-1 against Rangers.
Nah, it was Bournemouth 9-0. Bournemouth
City
9-0
1-0.
was unbelievable because even the young players came on and just done bits as well.
NRL saying we're not beating Brighton. I promise you, you cannot score against Wolves.
That's what I mean. Like, do you know what? Even Wolves, I said we were going to beat them, but I don't know.
Alex
I don't
AB,
know.
how about this for a hot Kopic? I'd take a 10-0 loss at Brighton if we get Caicedo off them. That would be a Premier League record, actually. One that we actually broke this season by beating Bournemouth 9-0. So let's not lose 10-0. Let's just pay the money, and take him. You know, he's on $3,500 a week, Caicedo. It's mad. Caicedo and McAllister will be back. We will be smoked. Brilliant. With a midfield that lacks mobility, do you think we should continue playing with advanced fullbacks?
No, just sort out the midfield.
Yeah. Just buy 2 midfielders.
Do the midfield the way you've done it before, and then keep the fullbacks the way they are.
Listen, I know everyone's feeling very down right now. No top 5 this year, lad, says I man. 2 steps needed, buy a midfielder and focus on bringing the confidence back up. City and Arsenal, Madrid. Is Saeed in the chat?
Wait, there. What is that? 4 games in a row? City, Arsenal, Madrid.
Well, they're games that we have to play in February and March. Saeed, if you're here, let us know. I mean, someone's just waved at you, but I can't see your name.
Alex,
here.
I think that the people in the chat as well, they are very, very negative, to be honest. And
why are they negative, Mario?
No, they are
points though.
Why are they negative? Why are they negative?
Because people are, we know that Jurgen Klopp in the hard times, he always tried to do something, and he always man, even last season, we had 14 points behind Man City, and we almost won the league in May. So in the difficult times, in the hard times, Klopp knows how to renew the team, how to give their best, how to change. Probably he needs to change the system of play, or he knows how to, to give Liverpool's best in this moment.
Why are they negative?
So negative.
Why
it's going to be tough season, that's for true. I'm not going to say someone right that, Mario, are you still believe that we're going to win the league this season? No, I don't believe we're going to win the league this season. But I strongly believe that we're going to be in top 4 this season. Because Klopp's he knows how to go from, in difficult times, how to change a team and give their best. He knows that. He's a master of that. He's probably the best.
So why aren't we winning right now?
Manager in the world to overturn the bad form.
So why haven't we overturned it? Why haven't we overturned it?
Because it's been 3-4 games that we played bad.
No, it's been all season that we played bad. So why haven't we overturned it?
Because we had very good 5-6 good games as well. It's
out of how many games?
We had bad first 10 games of the season.
Yeah.
Because of injury, because of preparation, because of short. I think
because you just mentioned a lot of the wins that we got that we played bad in.
Short, between the 2 seasons. Short rest we had between the last season and this season.
Yeah.
This is the first 10-15 games of the season. Then we had 5, 6, 7 games at good level.
Yeah.
We won 5 games on 6 in the Champions League. We lost just 1 game. Then we won 4, 5, 6 games in the Premier League as well in a row. So this is good. Then,
but you said that we played bad though, innit?
We didn't play very, very good, but that's what matters at the moment is the points.
But the point is, though, Mario, is that the reason why people are negative is because they're seeing...
Yeah, but it is too negative.
It's not too negative. It's honesty. And this is the problem.
They're talking about what they've seen.
I mean...
And Alex, and it's not just about what they've seen. There's a huge problem in today's age, which creates divides when people mistake negativity, which is actually honesty. It's honesty or mistaken honesty for negativity. It's not negative. It's honesty. It's based on what they've been seeing, Mario. Just because someone says we're going to get a couple of points from the next X amount of games doesn't mean they're negative. Just because they're saying Jurgen Klopp is doing things wrong doesn't mean they're negative. Saying Nunez isn't doing enough for the 85 million we spent for and running and causing chaos isn't good enough is not negative. It's honesty. And these are the people that are going to remain and keep the standards at the top of the football club, which results in the Premier Leagues and the Champions League that fans like you want. But you contradict yourself when you say you want Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues, but then you come out saying people are negative and that they're wrong for being negative when all they're doing is saying all the problems wrong with the football club. I don't think they're negative. I think they're honest. And whether they're right or wrong is different, but I think that's their honest point of view and honest feeling.
I'm so curious to know the people's opinion after the Leicester game last season when we lost 1-0. And we were 14 points behind City. What people was talking, the same bullshit like now. People are crazy sometimes because they don't realize what really Klopp can do in moments like this. This is a moment that Klopp can overturn the team, and he always done it in the past.
I don't dispute that, but if everything else isn't in tune, then how is Klopp going to be able to do that?
No, when people saying that we're not good enough for top 4, I'm not saying that we're going to win the league. 100%, we're not going to win the league. But I think
right now we're not good enough for top 4.
Why not?
Because Tottenham are playing better than us.
We are 5 points.
Tottenham definitely aren't, bro.
Tottenham
4, 5 points.
Tottenham are playing better than us. Sorry, who's got more points?
Yeah, but
who runs more in games?
4 points.
Who gets better results?
Man.
No, I don't care, Mario. They've still had a better season. That's one team that you need to worry about. Chelsea, even though they've been awful, they're the only team that have been worse than us this year.
They're only 2 points behind us.
They're only 2 points behind us. and all they need is a little kick in form. You know, Todd Bowley's being fucking spending the cash. They're just a signing or two away from possibly getting themselves in that top 4 conversation. Newcastle are only going to add more players. City are only going to add more players. Arsenal are only getting better game by game, which is a conversation we need to revisit at some point in the future. So all these teams that you're mentioning, it reminds me that even though you know there's all these problems at the club, you also neglect them when it comes to these conversations. Like, but we're Liverpool, so we must be better than Arsenal and that. Absolutely not the case, because we're much worse than all those teams that I've just mentioned, besides Chelsea, but again, only 1 or 2 signings away from being above us.
We played 16 games this season in the Premier League. We have another 22 games to play.
Yeah.
Or I don't know how many, probably.
And from the first game to now, it hasn't really improved.
22, 23 games in the second part of the season. Do you think that we're going to do better, or we're going to stay on the same level like yesterday?
From the way it's looking like, it's seeming like we're going to stagnate.
So we're not going to improve in the next 22 games?
I doubt that's going to happen unless we get new players in. Which is not a bad thing to say, Mario. How is that
No.
Just before we get off, comment here from Saeed, who's obviously loving it as a Man United fan, if you can even call him that, the amount of times that man
Saeed, mate.
Liverpool have done nothing on new owners, aging team, a striker that can't finish. It ain't easy. Cheers, Saeed. Thanks for your contribution, mate. Big up.
I've never said anything bad to Saeed about his football team, and he feels like he needs to come into my DMs and trigger me. But Saeed, I was nothing but nice to you during your time of Man United being absolutely shite.
They still are. Let's have it right. They're not.
They're better than us, though.
Who?
Man United right now.
I don't know about that.
No.
Because they got
give him more ammunition to hit back at us with. Man.
Sorry for being honest. This is the person who you wanted on your YouTube channel. Hang on a minute. Are we actually disputing this? A team that beat us recently and a team that's like however many points above us, like 7, is not better than us at the moment. Boys, get the glasses off, because this is what's going to keep us 5th and 6th, you fuckers. End the stream, Dave.
We need to replace Ronaldo. We need a new midfielder, and Liverpool were shite yesterday. That's the 3 points, really. The key points. A couple more comments right here before we head off. Massive shout out to every single one of you. 210 of you on the stream right now. If you have not liked the video, then what are you playing at? It doesn't cost you anything. We've put our life and heart into this podcast. So make sure you like the video. Let's get that number of likes up. Let's get the views up. Share it as well. Couple more comments just before we leave. James is on fire today. It says, Meshash.
I just want what's best for my football team. Call me a criminal. Lock me up and throw away the key. I just want what's best for my football team.
No, listen, we all do. But we've all got different opinions, and that's why we have a beautiful Hot Kopics debate and podcast to show you and give you a voice as well. 68 likes. That is not good enough, guys. I'm going to be that guy that asks you to like the video now. I'm going to be that guy. Let's get the likes up.
Did you know that it costs £0 to smash a like? And did you know that it gets the video more out there, which results in us doing more content? Come on, guys. It's an exchange.
You should know this by now. Listen, Mario, we still love you, mate.
We love you, Mario.
Of course we love Mario. Why would we not love Mario? Everyone loves Mario.
Thanks, guys.
James is a good man.
I try to be positive in the negative moments, but, because this is, we know that Liverpool,
we need the balance
in the difficult moments. We give always our best. So
2 more comments before we thank you so much.
Let's be positive. That's it.
Big up to P Mac in the comments. I remember losing 6 games in a row at home in 2020 and hearing how Liverpool were in crisis and finished, ended up 3rd, and the next season nearly won everything. Stay calm. Let's see what happens.
That's what I'm saying.
Big up to you, P Mac.
That's what I'm saying.
It might not happen twice. You've got to be aware of that.
That's what I'm saying.
Big up to Adita with the super chat. Alex and Mario need to live in reality. He's a Manchester United fan. AGT, you aren't anywhere near as good as United, mate. We have won 11 in the last 14.
Yeah, we're going to win the league, lad. Definitely, of course.
United on for the treble.
Nah, United fans are getting off the high horse, though, innit? But they've improved, though, which is why
they have improved. I'll give them that. Guys, would you take João Gomez and Kone this window? No.
Give me anyone that's going to
Red Sox fan booed John yesterday. Yes, go back and listen to that. Mario's new name is Ty. Have some respect,
Who's
please.
Ty?
We'll explain after the show.
No, it's not a good thing, though.
It's not a good thing.
No. Big up to Ty, though. That's my brother as well. As the studio's almost broken.
I'm curious.
He's known as a deluded Arsenal fan, and I use that because I wouldn't call him that because he's my guy.
Deluded Arsenal.
Do you remember the guy I beat in the quiz last year on DR and he stormed off the set? No?
No.
Well, I'll show you the video. There we go. Anyway, what an episode that was, people. Hot Kopics live in the studio in central Liverpool for you. Episode 56. We're approaching 60 now, guys. Big up to everyone for the consistency. Massive shout out to Jacob as well in the studio for looking after us. And a massive shout out to Flux as well. As we've already mentioned, the gilets are now out, guys. And if you go,
tits out, Jacob. Get me on camera.
Get him on camera there. He's got Flux top, jacket, and hat on. He is Mr. Flux right now.
Get Mario's chest out.
There's two options for you here. If you're on the website, or if you're on fluxactivewear.com, you can use the Kop TV 15%, and that helps us because it's via our link. But if you also are on the website, there's an automatic January sale checkout that happens automatically for you at checkout, the discount for you there. So if you want to get, and I would recommend everyone who's watching this now, you've already seen all the Flux gear that we've got, but this is the closest one you will find to the colour of a Liverpool shirt. We've been banging on at Flux to make a t-shirt for us that isn't, something that doesn't necessarily represent the club. Now look, it almost looks like you're wearing the Liverpool
best t-shirt
shirt
I ever had, man.
Really?
One of the best
you've ever had.
One of the best for training, definitely.
Love that. Massive shout out to Ruby for her contributions. I'm going to put her on. I'm going to put her on blast right now. I said, "Are you coming?" She said, "I'm so sorry. Was proper looking forward to that. I fell asleep without my phone on charge, and my alarm never went off. So you deserve to be put on smash for that horrendous. What's it called? What's the word I'm looking for? Professionalism, shocking excuse, whatever it is. Mario Deserbi will take Maguire as a water boy. Listen, it's important to end these streams, these negative streams, really, on a positive.
On a stream, stop using the word negative. It's
always be positive when you support Liverpool. Always, for fuck's sake.
Grande Mario.
Always. I love this passion. We have to be passionate.
We will see you back outside.
Nunez, chaos.
We will see you back outside the Kop on Saturday night for the game against Wolves. James is already ready to leave. So am I, to be honest.
Wait.
Let's wrap up the stream there, Jacob. Take care. We'll see you outside Anfield after the Wolves game on Saturday night. Big up.
Thanks for watching the video, guys. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stands, for a lot more Liverpool content.
Remember to check out our Shopify store for this beauty and much more. It's the new Luchito's Way Diaz t-shirt based on Luis Diaz and Carlito's Way. It's out now, designed by Rubi.
And there's going to be so many more.
There is. Make sure you're involved. Go and buy this now and use the Kop TV 15 for a little discount if you want.